that feeling different when the money coming fast. I got late low key. Shawty keep it down, I'ma be right back. I don't switch modes, yeah. Only switch names in sports, that's fact. I ain't pay notice. You know that won't play like me. Something that your money won't reach. Then she gave no love for me. Oh, yeah. You know that won't play like me. Something that your money won't reach. Then she moves so sexually. Is it me or no? 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 Gotta keep the pockets greased up, can't slip. Gotta get my mama's new whip, new crib. Tell your shawty listen from the city, from the sticks. And no matter where I throw it, yeah, she know it's gon' stick. Shawty isn't me, no babe. Shawty isn't me, no, yeah. Is it me or no? 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 Heard about it, let me get it on. And you know I'm holding out for the G60. That she want a Louis and a VV. Riding around the CG. Heard about it, let me get it on. And you know I'm holding out for the G60.
Morning Discord, good morning YouTube. Okay, let's get into it. Let's see, we didn't have a lot of movement in the pre-market. Maybe a slight gap right here. Let's see if we fill this gap. Or if we go straight to the 5. Here's the 5 MA at around 592.05.
Heard about it, let me get it on.
Let's see.
Heard about it, let me get it on. And you know I'm holding out for the G60. Yeah. They ain't never get it with a dog like me. How we got cheddar singing dog right me. Gotta keep it settled, gotta keep it low key. Money like me, money like. Bitch, I'm in the city with a coke fiends. How they talking money when the money don't speak? Money in his knee, but like it came from the street. Shawty in Vienna, gotta get it with me. Shawty know, gotta know, only know I'm like that. Set, straight back to the quick switch cars.
So yesterday the market completely shrugged off the Moody's downgrade, but we are getting to overbought territory. So we'll see how much the rally can last for before a pullback. A pullback from here would be healthy. To go straight up and never look back is probably not a healthy market. Because then all it's gonna take is one negative piece of news for everything to fall apart. Even though that was negative, the market just shrugged it off. So what do I know? Let's see how we react here. I think, see, here's the thing. Everyone's expecting some type of pullback, right? So when everyone's expecting something, that's when the market does the opposite. Just like when I told you a while ago, if you hear your 13-year-old nephew telling you to buy crypto, you know it's time to sell.
Said a 4x4 for G6 this baby shit for me. 100,000, couple M's don't make a G. Cash me in my bag and put that 40 right on my leg. Yeah, know it's how it day. Yeah, shawty, wish you stay. I'm about to cut up 25 for my name. I told him my selling is a move it to the bank. Yeah, and you know they're tryna lay down with the man. Way out on the man. Right now I'm on the man. Say that she love me, Christy and they owe me. This is how she day, yeah she day. Say she adore me, Christy in the origin. Fuck with me some more. Baby, ain't more time for you. All the love and back the money too. Yeah, with money come the storms, I just stick and move. No way, got me spending on my way back. Yeah, since we young as we was dreaming about a Maybach. Now I'm looking for my 41 days now. She said that she love me, Christy and they owe me. This is how she day, yeah she day. Say she adore me, Christy and they origin. Fuck with me some more.
Let's see if we target the 5 from here. Let's see if the 5 is on the target. So let's test today to see if it's going to be build in magenta and then break the blue. So we're testing right here.
I'm making this shit look. Shawty want signs up, 10 on my side, and 10 on my side, a Libra. They come round, don't talk like that, don't come right back, they reaching. I forget where the cake came from, but I guess they did amnesia. All the time when I'm making this shit look. 15 right to my safe, 15 right to my bank. Long as my circle tight, long as my circle pay. If she gon' make my man, if she gon' make my man, I need my Beyonce. Gotta stay tough, gotta stay tough, stay tough. Then I'ma bug and call, say that I'ma bug and call. I'ma go down when it get like that. I'ma hold out to maybe. Even God when I always gon' say, how you been good and serving it. Yo, shawty want signs up, 10 on my side, and 10 on my side, a Libra. They come round, don't talk like that, don't come right back, they reaching. I forget where the cake came from, but I guess they did amnesia. All the time when I'm making this shit look. Stacks in the leader, all of us cheat up. 16 fees now, paying my fees up. Yeah, all of us teed up. We gon' whip down like yeah, you know. Money so loud they heard it, know. If you know we found a way, on my body spill the dirt. I don't know, ain't no the way. I'm on way, I'ma go down when it get like that. I'ma hold out to maybe. Even God when I always gon' say, how you been good and serving it. Yo, shawty want signs up, 10 on my side, and 10 on my side, a Libra. They come round, don't talk like that, don't come right back, they reaching. I forget where the cake came from, but I guess they did amnesia. All the time when I'm making this shit look. Fuck on my shoulder, lights been going out, shawty fuck around like no one.
This wick right here really made me think. I was like, okay, let's see what we got. But yeah, we gotta wait for it to close below. We gotta wait for it to close below the blue. Never close below blue. Let's see for our up scenario. Let's see it. Alright, let's see if we can 84% rule. Let's see if we can 84% rule back into it. Remember, we gotta close below this blue, preferably below this 592.81. Below 590, below this key level here would be ideal if we can get there. As you see, it's major support right at this key level. So let's see if we break it, and then expect a if it does, a break and retest.
Love you on my mama on your day. Well, I think that you forgot but what you saw in me. How to love but please don't be the one who got away. Just a humming talking when I come and humming E. Hate the fact that we ain't spoken in some weeks. Blood on hands but we just rinse it and repeat. Let's speak a language that we both know how to read. See, baby, all the time, come on.
They don't want to close below this blue. They're struggling to close below this blue. They don't want to do it.
I learned to cope, I learned to tank, I learned to float, like I learned some things. It's how the nigga how to earn your trust. I'm not concerned with them, I know you heard some things. Look, I ain't perfect, I'm hurting.
We got 10 seconds on this candle, 9 seconds. Let's get the close below. Below this 592.81 would be ideal. Seems like we're closing right on the blue. Some indecision, some hesitation. It looks like we broke blue now. Comfortably below, not comfortable, but below blue, still inside the purple. I probably need to adjust this purple just a tad. There we go. Alright, let's see if we can get some type of movement now. Oh, it's right on key level.
Shawty, is she worried if I might show? Damn, it's hard to care for his side though. Out here with my mans in a night show. Drinking party, yeah, we keep the lights low. I've been by mine all the way. Ice cold, what a nigga gotta say now. Sipping any, we be mobbing through the night, oh yeah. Moving like we trapping out of Vando. I need. Money on me, new city, new bitch, new kid. It's calls and the rain on me. I've been down and out, but a nigga still breathing. Saying my prayers for the check. Straight shooter like I'm walking with a tech. Move deep and I'm pounding on my chest. You know what I want. You know what I need. Ice cold bitch when I'm sipping my tea. I don't mean it. Feeling myself. Feeling my knees, feel like repercussions ain't gon' ever catch me. Heard what I said, and I can't help it. I ain't never gonna rest, never gonna test me, check me. I need.
All right, let's see. We need to break this key level. See all the support? It's right here. Still inside the purple though.
Shawty send me your location, 120 on the freeway speeding. Big check, blue pills, I'm beating. Young boy finna do my thing. Get the FBI, put a case on me. Feel like everything gon' cave on me. Shawty, hold on, have faith in me. You don't wanna. Oh, I gotta.
Come on, give us that move. Okay, trade protected. Have to hold on for a little bit there, but trade protected. And there it is. Easy money. There we go. Just have to be a little bit of patient, maybe 84% rule, but easy money. Let me clean up this chart. Let's go. It's going to touch the 5, it looks like. So if you want to take your profit,
know you do this often. Hey, I'm running out of options. I'm okay, I'm fine. Hey, I'ma swallow all my pride. Won't be nothing but a side piece. Oh, oh. Catching feelings with my pipe dream. Oh no. Sighting shit be feeling type of ways. I don't need nobody for the day. I just need somebody for the night. Hey, been there and I never been the same. Been there but I'm not the one to blame. I just need somebody for the night. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't need you no more. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't really feel no more. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't really care no more. Shawty wanna use me up. Yeah, yeah. Ay, run it up, I'm mobbing. Ay, none of y'all niggas they poppin'. Yeah, I know you do this often. Ay, I'm running out of options. I'm okay, I'm fine. Ay, I'ma swallow all my pride. Won't be nothing but a side piece. Oh, oh. Catching feelings with my pipe dream. Oh no.
So here's some sauce for you guys. Whenever you see all this liquidity built up, liquidity builds up whenever there's rejections like this, but it keeps testing it, keeps testing, what is it, 592.81, keeps testing 592.81. When it breaks it, that means there's going to be a big move. When it finally breaks it, there has to be some significant move, because that means all these stops have been triggered. Everyone that went long here, everyone that were buying calls here, that pushed it back up here, here, that means all their calls just got stopped out. That's what that means. So there has to be movement to the downside, because if they had, let's say, millions and millions of dollars of calls here, once it breaks that level, that means they get stopped out. And what happens? They have to sell, right? They have to sell their position, which causes this big candle here. Now once I saw I took my profit here just to secure some profit, and I got back in on this retracement, so now I'm still in profit. So whatever happens from here, it happens. I don't care. For the next downside, for the next put scenario, the ideal scenario would look like this, right? So from this point on, we want deep structure, because we don't know if the market's just going to play with us all day and just do this, with the 5 being right here. So if you took an early win, take your win and move on with your life. Take your win and move on. We could be seeing a shoulder, head, and a shoulder forming here. So let's look to see the strength off of this purple, like this. See that? That's what I told you. Take your wins and move on. Look. It's too easy. I have my, I got in on the very, very top. I took my little bit of profit, stopped out, fine. Now look, because if it didn't continue, because I know where's your risk to reward? At the 5. So I knew I had to put a tight stop. I'm not going all the way to the top of this candle. That would be silly, because this is already the retracement. So if I get past the retracement, that means that the bolt down is no longer valid, right? So you knew where to take profit at the 5, easy. That's your risk to reward. This is managing your risk. And to be honest, this looks like a momentum candle here. Let me look at the 5-minute. All right, broke purple. Clean up this chart just a bit. Look at this candle, see? And now they just stopped out everyone, like people like me who try to, well, I mean, I protected my trade because I already knew. I protected my trade, but everyone that went short here just got stopped out. So what happened is they gained the liquidity, the strength of the liquidity off the 5. So it went to the 5, got the liquidity bounce, and boom, bounced off, right? So this is a rejection. You know how we always say either a rejection of the 5 or a break, retest, and reject? This is the rejection off the 5. So the trading plan this morning was we're going to do a play off the 5. So we waited for the setup. The setup was what? A build in magenta, break the blue off the inverse head and shoulder. We saw the inverse head and shoulder. This cup, the cup and handle. This handle went crazy though. This handle was a stop hunt. You had to 84% rule back in and then take your win. Now if this is going to gain some strength, we want to see it dance off the purple. I might need to adjust the purple again. I think a safer purple would probably be here like this, but we'll leave it like this. So now you know the liquidity grab. It grabbed liquidity off the 5 and then rejected off the 5. The reason why this candle was able to happen was because all these taps on the 5 built the liquidity. Because remember, this is institutional investment doing these moves, right? So they're putting in millions and millions and millions of dollars in orders. You know what? I do need to adjust this purple. Here it is. Hold on. Let me focus really quick. I think there's one here. There's also one here though. There it is. Okay. Okay, I like this purple better. I was having trouble with this purple since this morning, but I think we can. Yeah, I like this one. Alright, so now we want to see if we are. Let's see. Build in green and break purple, right? So we want to build in green and break the purple. Or are we just staying in the purple, right? So when it does break, if it does break the purple, you want it to break, retest, and reject. That'd be the ideal. Now if it breaks purple and just runs, then that's a risk, you know. That's just a risk we're taking. The opportunity risk of not getting in on the play. Okay, so like I was saying, the reason why you see this candle like this, this momentum candle happened was because all this liquidity on the 5, that there was no orders to be filled here. So because there's no orders to be filled, the next fillable order was where? At the liquidity level. So that's why it went immediately to this liquidity level, and it skipped all these other levels. There was no buy and sell orders here, or there wasn't a lot. So what happens is, because it went from here to 592.13 all the way to 593.15, what that means is, when you see a candle like this, that means there was no orders. And that's why it went immediately to where all the orders were. So whenever you get candles like this, that's what that means. There's no orders here. Finally, they got filled in at this level. And we're still in purple. That's why we want to wait for the break, retest, and reject off purple, right? Because we're just in the purple algorithm now. So puts on the top of purple, calls on blue until we break it, right? So now we want to see if we form another magenta like this. Are we forming magenta? Hold on, let me clean up this chart. Now, are we forming magenta? Do we have a shoulder here, a head here, and another shoulder here to go out the blue? That's what we're looking for, okay? It's pretty simple, pretty easy. So before it goes out of blue, you want to see a little dance. But here's what you got to worry about, right? You see what happened to liquidity grab on the 5. Look at your risk to reward. Your risk to reward at this level, excuse me, your risk to reward at this level is from here, 592.39, to the 592.05. That's a very small risk to reward, because you see one candle could take you out real quick, right? So instead of going in on this break of blue, because your risk to reward, you know the liquidity, now you got to take macroeconomics into consideration. Your best bet would be to wait for the break, retest, and reject for the puts of the 5. So instead of going in on, and if it happens on blue here, it happens, right? But your safest bet would be wait for the break, retest, and reject, and then you wait for what? You're gonna wait for your magenta to set up, right? You're gonna wait for your magenta like this, and then you're gonna wait for your blue to set up like this. Boom, just like that. That's what you want to look for in the break, retest, and reject. You want to wait for a magenta to form, and then for confirmation, you go on the break of blue. All right, let me clean this up. So that's your safe bet underneath the 5, because, you know, look at this. Your risk to reward from blue to 5, that's on you if you want to take that. I don't think it's, I think you wait for the deeper structure. I'm just cleaning up the chart just to give you guys the idea of what I was talking about. Because don't forget, we've had many days, like record-breaking number of days of solid wins. Solid wins every day, like record-breaking, literally. So don't be surprised if you just see this off the 5 all day. Because we've seen that before, like not long ago, actually. All right, so now we're looking, is this our other shoulder forming? Like this. Now for safety on this one, it's best to wait for the break, retest, and reject. That's just a safety. If it breaks out of purple and this was enough liquidity to break it and it just runs, then it runs. If you took your win for the day, take your win and leave. Right? Just take your win and leave. The more you trade, I'm pretty sure you've seen it. The more you trade, the more you get greedy. Build the account. Take your wins and leave. You don't have to sit here and trade all day. This is how you erode your account. Yeah, exactly. Because what do we know could happen? This. We could just do this all day. It doesn't have to be a big move up. So you got to measure your risk to reward. And also think about it. Your high a day is also, where is it? Because it may just want to reject off high a day, which is right here. So if you get break a purple, high a day, it may just test high a day and then. But this inverse head and shoulders is looking whoo-wee. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. So for your safety, if it does get above this purple, right, then you just want to do the opposite of what we just did. We want to see a green form, right, above the purple. We want to see a green form like this. And then we want to see another purple form over here. So then you want to see it do this. Let's just say it happened. I don't know why I built it over here, but hold on. I built it in the wrong place, so it looks weird now. I'm old. What do you want from me? Hold on. We got movement here. But you see all the liquidity building up on the inside the purple now. This is why we wait for the break, retest, and reject. That's the best bet off of purple. Now, is it possible that it just hits and runs? Sure, it's possible, but I'm telling you what the safety looks like. And this, if it does shoot up from here, this inverse head and shoulder is still intact. Why? Because it didn't break the key level. So don't focus too much on the drawing. Look at the level that it's at. Right? If it gets below blue, then that means this is no longer valid. If we get below blue and break blue, this is no longer valid. We actually wanted to see this, ideally, this shoulder, we wanted to see it like probably up here, along the purple. Now we're about to invalidate this shoulder. It's about to be invalidated. And then again, your risk to reward. If it does break blue, where's the 5? Right here. So you gotta, this isn't our ideal setup for a short, right? Because we went over what the ideal setup was, which is gonna be a solid break, retest, and reject with a forming of the magenta and a blue. That's our setup. It still didn't break this this level here, so still valid. I'll put it back up on the screen.
Shawty, is she worried if I might show? Damn, it's hard to care for a side though. Out here with my mans in a night show. Drinking party, yeah, we keep the lights low. I'm in my mind all the way. Ice cold, what a nigga gotta say now. Sipping honey, we be mobbing through the night, oh yeah. Moving like we trapping out of any.
Okay, invalid. Risk to reward. 5 is kind of pointing down. Didn't close below the blue yet. But you know your liquidity is right here. So it's still, yeah, it's still right there. So risk to reward. Let's see what plays out. Because we're technically still in this purple. So it could just go top of purple, bottom of purple. Top of purple, bottom of purple. I know it looks easy right now, but just, I don't know. We don't need to be in every single trade. We don't have to be in every single trade. And keep in mind, I just moved this blue, so I think it's better over here.
Shawty send me your location, 120 on the freeway speeding. Big checks, blue pills, I'm feeding. Young boy finna do my thing. Get the FBI, put a case on me. Feel like everything gon' cave on me. Shawty, hold on, have faith in me. You don't wanna. Oh, I gotta. But I gotta. You don't wanna. Like you wanna see her every day. She just wants somebody for the night. You call, I'll be on my way. Hard to love me when you got nothing to chase. She just wants somebody for the night. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't need you no more. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't really feel no more. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't really care no more. Shawty wanna use me up. Yeah. Hey, run it up the mob. Hey, none of y'all niggas they poppin'. Yeah, I know you do this often. Hey, I'm running out of options. I'm okay, I'm fine. Hey, I'ma swallow all my pride. Won't be nothing but a side piece. Oh. Catching feelings with my pipe dream, oh no. Sighting, she be feeling type of ways. don't need nobody for the day. I just need somebody for the night. Been there and I never been the same. Been there but I'm not the one to blame. I just need somebody for the night. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't need you no more. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't really feel no more. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't really care no more. Shawty wanna use me up. Yeah.
Same pattern we've been seeing, right? Rejection off the top of purple, and then rejection off blue. So same pattern. Nothing's changed. Again, I know it looks like it's doing exactly this thing. You got to measure your risk to reward. You know, you just got to be able to measure this risk to reward. And think about, are we just bouncing off of blue to go to retest purple again? Are we going to form another blue? Just wait till you get underneath the 5. That's how you know the direction, right? Because we're stuck between 593.64 and the 5. We know that for sure. That's where we are. Which is why I said early this morning we could just do this. Maybe a slightly down day just to have you know, some type of normalcy in the market instead of every single day up. What we did know is to buy on the bottom of blue after a green. That's what we did know. So this was an easy trade right here. Now if we get above this purple, this is going to be invalidated. Or are we still just inside the purple? So even if it does break purple, wait for the break and retest. If it shoots out, then it shoots out. This is about to be invalidated. But you see what's happening. So I just want to clean up the chart just a bit because it's getting hectic. Because at the same time, we could also have this right here. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. So you got a 50-50 right here. We are at the 50-50. Good luck. Or you could just say, hey, I won for the day. I'm out. I'm done. Exactly, Steven. There's no reason to make any trade. We need to see movement, right? We need to see a direction. This is and identifying chop. That's step one of becoming a profitable trader. Identifying when you're in chop. You got to be able to know when there's no movement. We'll know what movement looks like because we're going to see, you know, like that. You're going to see something looks like that, right? Or to the other side, you're going to see something that looks like this. Some type of movement to give us direction. You need momentum in a direction. We don't have any momentum yet. We're just slowly grinding down in this very choppy, slow grind down in purple. That's all we have. Clean up this chart just a bit. And now your risk to reward on purple is going to be where? Right here on 593.61. So if it does break, is that worth the risk? That's what you got to ask yourself. Just because break a purple. That's why it's better to wait for the break, retest, and then reject to know if you get strength to go in that direction. I'm gonna clean up this chart a bit. If you've taken a win for the day, just take the win and move on. You don't have to sit around here waiting for the chop to tell you if you're gonna have a good or bad day. You decide if you're gonna have a good or bad day. On the 30-minute, we just have an indecision candle, really. Indecision candle for your opening, and then we got to see how this one finishes. But yeah, we got no real movement here. Let's see what we got now. Alright, break a purple, protect your trade. You gotta protect your trade, right? Because you know your target is gonna be 593.64. So break a purple, trade protected. Ideally, we'd like to see a break, retest, reject with some strength to it. Not just, I'll break a purple. Sure, you can, you know, if it works, it works. You have to hold on for dear life at purple just to make sure you don't get stopped out for a loss.
For G63, this baby shit for me. 100,000, couple M's don't make a G. Pass me in my bag and put that 40 right on my leg. Yeah, know it's how it day. Yeah, shawty, wish you stay. I'm about to cut up 25 for my name. I told him my selling is a move it to the bank. Yeah, and you know they're tryna lay down with the man. Way out on the man. Right now I'm on the man. Say that she love me, Christy and they owe me. This is how she did, yeah she did. Say she adore me, Christy in the origin. Fuck with me some more. you. All the loving back and back, the money too. Yeah, when money come to storms, I just stick and move. The way got me spending with my way back. Yeah, since we young as we was dreaming about a Maybach. Yeah, I'm looking for my 41 day days now. She said that she love me, Christian, they love me. This is how she think,
Do you see why we want to wait for significant movement, a break, retest, and reject? If it were to go here and just shoot out, okay, then it shoots out. Nothing you can do about that. Or if you would have not hesitated and took it, you could at least broke even or took a little bit of profit even. But your safest bet is to get the momentum on your side. Wait for the momentum to build. That's why we play it safe. No reason to risk anything. Just play it safe, and if the setup doesn't present itself, then it doesn't. I readjusted the purple, by the way, so be careful. Look, what do you see happening? What do you see happening? Exactly what we thought was going to happen. Don't get caught up in this. Just wait. Or we took our win. We took our win. We knew we were heading to the 5. We saw the inverse cup and handle. We took our money. This is all just side chop. You can't do anything here. You're in the middle of the water. Here, we'll mark out a low a day. I don't like doing this too much because my charts are already crazy busy. So we marked out high a day. I'll put it in a 2 just so it's not overwhelming. I'll put this one in a 2. So we got to get out of this range, right? 593.64 and 592.05. We got to break one way or the other before we start making executive decisions. Now, if you're the type that wants to go in on every movement, you know, that's on you. But if you want to preserve your account and trade properly, you know, wait for the setup. The setup looks like this, something like this, maybe like this, and then like that. Don't forget high days right here. Or if you want, just set an alert. If you're on TradingView, right click on the line, add alert. This is just chop. Nothing to do here. We gotta wait for one of these levels to break. You know what? Let me put a little bit brighter because it's not standing out the way I like. Puts underneath purple. Again, puts on purple. Look. Puts on purple, puts on purple, puts on purple, puts on purple. Nothing's changed. Matter of fact, now we broke the blue. Oh, it didn't break blue yet. But it looks like we're forming a wedge. Here, I'm going to do the wedge in orange. And let's see. See that wedge forming? Now, risk management. When the wedge breaks, if it breaks to the upside, your high a day is highlighted. So there's your risk to reward if you want to take the break of the wedge, or the break of purple rather. You got to measure your risk to reward. And if it breaks below the wedge, you have to take into consideration all the liquidity at the 5 MA. So what happens when you have a lot of liquidity at 5 MA? You get big engulfing candles like this. So you have to be aware of that. That's why I'm telling you it's better to wait for deep structure, right? Deep structure, not just, oh, it touched it and broke it one. No. Wait for the deep structure. That'll give you your momentum. It'll tell you which way. Because we can't predict where it's going to go, right? We don't know where it's going to go. We're using the momentum to tell us the direction. And when you use momentum like that, you can't reap 100% of the profit. That's just not possible. But you can get some of it. And that's the point. We're riding the wave from the market makers.
Look, I learned some things and taught a nigga how to earn your trust. I'm not concerned with them. I know you heard some things. Look, I ain't perfect. I'm hurting, babe. That make two of us the way you purchase things. The surface level not serving us. I gotta let you in so you interpret things the way I meant. And may I vent based off the things you post online. I can't help but think you gotta stay off that. Embrace the fact I won't brace myself for no downfall. Know they pray on that. If loving you will make me crazy, girl, then giving up on you will make a psychopath. I'm on my way. I wait out back.
You see these engulfing candles, engulfing candle, engulfing candle. You can't trade in this. That's what I'm saying. Wait for deep structure, whichever way it goes. Just wait for the deep structure. You don't always have to be in a trade. All right, so we broke blue. This wedge is still holding up firm though.
Shawty, is she worried if I might show? Damn, it's hard to care for a sight though. Out here with my mans in a night show. Drinking party, yeah, we keep the lights low. I'm in my mind all the way. Ice cold, what a nigga gotta say now. Sipping any with me, mobbing through the night.
And we also haven't formed another green yet. So for the down, we at least need to form a green, right? We at least need to form a green. At least on this one, we formed a magenta. We didn't get any follow through, but we had something. This is literally just side chop now. In the grand scheme of things, it's side chop, right? When you zoom out, but if you zoom in, there's no trend that formed at all. We just have a wedge between this orange.
Ain't gonna ever kiss me. Heard what I said, and I can't help it. I ain't never gonna rest, never gonna test me, check me. I need. You care for me. Don't you fuck around, I know you hurt about me. I need. Okay, yeah, I'm a touchdown in the major.
And usually when we get into this type of time right here, everyone always thinks, oh man, I knew I should have bought X, Y, and Z. Oh man, I knew I should have done this and that. You can't think like that, right? Identify your setup. Identify the setup and go with that. You can't go off of, oh look, 3 candles, I could have made something there. 2 candles, I could have made something there. You can't think like that. That's going to leave you broke. Because you get engulfing candles like this that completely put you in your place. But we knew, the market can't go up every day. I mean, it could, but it's highly unlikely it's going to go up every single day like we've had for the past how long? 2-3 weeks? 6 weeks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks of solid movement up. This, that's unprecedented, unheard of. Still firmly in this orange wedge.
Catching feelings with my pipe dream mode. Sighting shit be feeling type of words. I don't need nobody for the day. I just need somebody for
So if we look at our 5-minute, we did kind of break this green. And we did form this orange on a 5-minute. Let's look at the 30-minute. Okay, so on the 30-minute we have the first 30 minutes, indecision candle. The next 30 minutes, indecision candle. There's nothing to go off of here. There's nothing to tell us one way or the other. Easy. We took our little early morning win, this break of blue. We never got it again. Easy. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. So broke purple. You know, you gotta tighten up that stop if you took break of purple. You gotta tighten that stop if you took the break of purple. Looks like we broke the wedge, but now where's your resistance? 593.64. So in this case, wait for this, right? Possible magenta forming. Okay, break of purple, winner. Break of the wedge, you got to protect it. Winning. We're in the purple. Now if you're waiting for the pullback, wait for the pullback, right? Something like that. But we did break the purple, so I'll take that victory. We did break key level, I'll take this victory. We did break orange, I'll take that victory. Easy money. So we saw the cup, handle, boom. All you have to do is be a little bit patient. Gotta get my mama's new whip, new crib. Shawty listen from the city, from the sticks, and no matter where I throw it, yeah, she know it's gon' stick. Shawty isn't me, no babe. Shawty isn't me, no yeah. Isn't me or no. All right, now let's see if we form a green. So we're still inside the magenta right now. I'm gonna clean up this chart just a bit. Still in the magenta, so you're still in on break of purple. We did form the magenta. We're still in this trade. Now we'd like to form from this point, whenever it happens, we like to form a green and then form another purple for the break to the upside to get more strength up. Right, so then it'll look like something like this. And the reason why you want to wait for the green to form and then the rejection of the orange again. So the reason why you want the green to form and rejection of the orange is because you want to make sure that this wasn't a fake out. How do you make sure it's not a fake out? To wait for the break, retest, and reject. That's how you confirm. Now we might have a break, retest, and reject of 593.64. But if you want the deep structure, just wait for the green to form. Our next key level is going to be at 594.35. We didn't form the green yet, so I'll expand this magenta. I'll wait for the green to form. Hasn't formed yet. There's gonna be big resistance right up here. Let me put this one back. There's gonna be big resistance right here. Big resistance at 594.35.
For G6 this baby shit for me. 100,000, couple M's don't make a G. Pass me in my bag and put that 40 right on my leg. Yeah, know it's how it day. Yeah, shawty, what you think? I'm about to cut up 25 for my lane. I told him my selling is I move it to the bank. Yeah, and you know they're tryna lay down with the man. Way out on the man. Right now I'm on the man. Say that she love me, Christy and they owe me. This is how she think, yeah she think. Say she adore me, Christy in the origin. Fuck with me some more.
All right, let's see if we form a green.
All the love them back and back, the money too. Yeah, when money come to stones, I just stick and move.
Now we knew we were gonna meet some resistance up here, right? We knew that. I think we can get a few more dollars to the upside. Yeah, I'd like it to grab some liquidity off this 594.35. Still didn't form a green yet. Might be forming a purple here though. It could still want to touch this key level, 594.35. I'd actually be surprised if it didn't.
Let it come round, don't talk like that, don't come right back, they reaching. I forget where the kid came from, but I guess they did amnesia. Hard to tell when I'm making this shit look. Shorty want signs of 10 on my side and 10 on my side of Libra. Let it come round, don't talk like that, don't come right back, they reaching. I forget where the kid came from, but I guess they did amnesia. Hard to tell when I'm making this shit look. 15 right to my safe, 15 right to my bank. Long as my circle tight, long as my circle pay. If she gon' make my man, if she gon' make my man, I need my Beyonce. Gotta stay tough, gotta stay tough, stay tough. Then I'ma bug and call, say then I'ma bug and call. I'ma put down when it get like that. I'ma hold out to maybe. Even out when I always gon' say, how you been good and good and driving it. Shorty want signs of 10 on my side and 10 on my side of Libra. They come round, don't talk like that, don't come right back, they reaching. I forget where the kid came from, but I guess they did amnesia. Hard to tell when I'm making this shit look. Stacks in the leader, all of us cheat up. 16 fees now, pay my fees up. All of us teed up, we gon' whip down like yeah, you know. Money so loud they heard it, know. If you know we found a way, on my body spill the sun. I don't know, ain't no other way. I'm on way, I'ma go down when it get like that. I'ma hold out to maybe. Even out when I always gon' say, how you been good and good and driving it. Shorty want signs of 10 on my side and 10 on my side of Libra. They come round, don't talk like that, don't come right back, they reaching. I forget where the kid came from, but I guess they did amnesia. Hard to tell when I'm.
I like it to dig down a little deeper, right, for this. I like it to dig a little bit deeper, but we'll see what happens. Because for the break of purple here, this is kind of thin structure. I don't like it's a little too thin, plus we're dancing at a key level. I got about another, I'll do another 10 minutes, and we'll call it for the session. All right, there it is. Now let's see. Okay, broke right through blue.
Shawty, is she worried if I might show? Damn, it's hard to care for a sight though. Out here with my mans in a night show. Drinking party, yeah, we keep the lights low. I've been by mine all the way. Ice cold, what a nigga gotta say now. Sipping any, we be mobbing through the night, oh yeah. Moving like we trapping out of Vando. I need. I need you here for me. Don't you fuck around, I know you heard about me. I need. Oh, let's go, I got money on me. New city, new bitch, new kid. It's costing and rain on me. I've been down and out, but a nigga still breathing. Saying my prayers for the check. Straight shooter like I'm walking with a tech. Move deep and I'm pounding on my chest. You know what I want. You know what I need. Ice cold bitch when I'm sipping my tea. I don't mean it. Feeling myself, feeling my knees. Feel like repercussions ain't gon' ever catch me. Heard what I said and I can't help it. I ain't never gonna rest, never gonna test me, check me. I need. You here for me. Don't you fuck around, I know you heard about me. I need. Okay, yeah, I'm a touchdown in the matrix. Yeah. Shawty send me your location. 120 on the freeway speeding. Big check, blue pills, I'm feeding. Young boy finna do my thing. Get the FBI, put a case on me. Feel
Damn
like
it.
everything gon' cave on me. Shawty, hold on, have faith in me. You don't wanna.
There it is. Break a blue. Easy money. Easy money. Easy money.
She just wants somebody for the night. You call, I'll be on my way. Hard to love me when you got nothing to chase. She just wants somebody for the night. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't need you no more. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't really feel no more. Shawty wanna use me up.
Look at this green now form. Perfect green. Perfect green.
Run it up the mob. None of y'all niggas they poppin'. Yeah, I know you do this often. I'm running out of options. I'm okay, I'm fine. I'ma swallow all my pride. Won't be nothing but a side piece. Catching feelings with my pipe dream. Oh no. Sight saying she be feeling type of ways. I don't need nobody for the day. I just need somebody for the night. Been there and I never been the same. Been there but I'm not the one to blame. I just need somebody for the night. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't need you no more. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't really feel no more. Shawty wanna use me up. I don't really care no more. Shawty wanna use me up. Yeah. Run it up, I'm mobbing. None of y'all niggas they poppin'.
Alright, now let's see if we do this right here.
Is it me or no? Is it me? Is it me or no? 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 They don't even know me. Now they feeling different when the money's so fast. I got lazy low key. Shawty keep it down, I'ma be right back. I don't switch modes, yeah. Only switch names in sports, that's fact. I ain't paying notice. You know that won't play like me. Something that your money won't reach. Then she gave no love for me. Oh, yeah. You know that won't play like me. Something that your money won't reach. Then she moves so sexually. Is it me or no? 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 Gotta keep them pockets greased up, can't slip. Gotta get my mama's new whip, new crib. Tell your shawty listen from the city, from the sticks. And no matter where I throw it, yeah, she know it's gon' stick. Shawty isn't me, no babe. Shawty isn't me, no, yeah. Is it me or no? 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 Heard about it, let me get it on T. And you know I'm pulling out for the G63. That she wanna Louis and a VV. Riding around the CG. Know you heard about it, let me get it on T. And you know I'm pulling out for the G63. All the greed and the lust, cause you want a piece of the pie. All that shit is bleeding me dry. I don't want your piece in the voice. Hold it down for me. These I like bitches all the time. These days I ain't even gon' lie, don't let me down. I've been throwing these hundreds on a dime. Spent 7 on that, bring no wedding vows. All that smoking made me tired. 2022's a college time, Mariah. Talk about my lows and all my highs. Been trying to see the light, this shit is quiet. All the greed and the lust, cause you want a piece of the pie. All that shit is bleeding me dry. I don't want your piece in the voice. Girl, I'm in your CG. Know you heard about it, let me get it on T. And you know I'm holding out for the G63. That she wanna Louis and a VV. Riding around the CG. Know you heard about it, let me get it on T. And you know I'm holding out for the G63. Yeah. They ain't never got it with a dog like me. How we got cheddar singing dog right me. Gotta keep it settled, gotta keep it low key. Money like me, money like. Bitch, I'm in the city with a cocaine. I they talking money when the money don't speak. Money in Geneva like it came from the street. Shawty in Vienna, gotta get it with me. she heard I got it on me. Couldn't pull it up like me. Shit, now she tryna load my phone. Shit, I'm in the booth going ghost. Now they heard I got it on me. Now they hear I got it on me. Yeah.
Fresh out the scene, bitch, I'm the best out the scene. Bulletproof if you know what I mean. Lately I just been questioning things. How you wanna stay with me for nights? Baby, I just wanna treat you right. Yeah, I'm thinking late through the night. And baby, you can stay if you like. Ain't no stress in this stretch legs. Baby, no, I'm different. Hit my text when you downstairs. You know that I'm different than your ex. Stress less, that's my problem now. You got me thinking about you every time I'm not
Shawty
around.
wants to start trying to know me. I can never get it too close. Cause she heard I got it on me. Couldn't pull it up like me. Shit, now she tryna load my phone. Shit, I'm in the booth going ghost. Now they heard I got it on me. Now they hear I got it on me. Yeah. Said a 4x4 for G6 3, this baby shit for me. 100,000, couple M's don't make a G. Pass me in my bag and put that 40 right on my leg. Yeah, know it's how it day. Yeah, shawty, wish you day. I'm about to cut up 25 for my lane. I told him my selling is a move it to the bank. Yeah, and you know they tryna lay down with the man. Way out on the man. Right now I'm on the man. Said that she love me, Christy and they owe me. This is how she day, yeah she day. Say she adore me, Christy in the origin. Fuck with me some more. Baby, ain't no more time for you. All the love them back and back, the money too. Yeah, when money come to stones, I just stick and move. Now we got me spending on my way back. Yeah, since we young as we was dreaming about a Maybach. Yeah, now I'm looking for my 41 days now. She said that she love me, Christy and they owe me. This is how she day, yeah she day. Say she adore me, Christy and the origin. Fuck with me some more. Benches and BMs now, lights don't make no sense now. Yeah, fall back too close, you ain't even know me. Trust my brothers from way back from the north. Stay in the York, and then like they owe me.
Okay, YouTube, that's been my time. We did good things.